Good afternoon, people. Who is online? It's past the time we said we were going to start. So I'm waiting until I see somebody online. Once one person joins, we are good to go. Good morning. Good morning, fam. Good morning, netizens. Good morning. Oh, it's afternoon, 12:30. It's actually afternoon. Yes! Somebody has joined. So, yes. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. A very good afternoon. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Rafat. I am an autism mom. Good morning, my Ebira sister. Oh, nice, nice, nice. My name is Rafat. I'm an autism mom. And you all know my son, Ahmed, is on the spectrum. And with your support, he's doing amazingly well. July is his birth month. July 29 is his birthday. And by the grace of God, he will be 20 in a couple of weeks. That is why I feel that he has an intriguing story. I don't think it would be nice for me to keep on to that story. I think it would be nice for the story to be out. Who knows? A lot of people have told me that since we came out, I have inspired them. I get a lot of calls from people struggling to raise their children. People who don't understand what is wrong with their children. I told a parent last week that he felt I was angry with him because I stopped responding. I told him, no, I didn't stop responding because I was angry. I stopped responding to you because I was looking for help for you. And I understood your anxiety. I understood what he was going through. So I was trying to get him help. So I couldn't respond to him while I was trying to get him help. I want to start from the very beginning with Ahmed. You see, life happens to us at some point in our lives. Things happen that are stranger than fiction, are unexplainable. You cannot explain it. Your attempt at explaining it will look like you are lying. But thankfully, except for one person who is late now, Gina Daka Osika, every other person in my story is alive. And I will be referencing them and telling how they were parts of Ahmed's story. From conception. Okay, so let me start from conception. For all women here whom God has ever blessed, I think for everybody, the very first sign of pregnancy is that you don't see your period. When you don't see your period, you now begin to ask, why is my period delayed or not coming? You go to a hospital, you do a blood test or urine test, depending on the hospital. The results comes out positive. Then it tells you that, yes, you are expecting a child. That was simple enough, isn't it? But it was not that simple for us. We got a positive result. And at that time, I was staying in 1004 estates in Lagos. I was in flat F113 in 1004. My husband was in Abuja, so we were frequent visiting, exchanging visits. Before the Ahmed's conception, our relationship had soured to the point that conjugal relations were near zero. But I was determined to make it work. I was eager to make it work. I didn't want to leave my husband. He invited me to Abuja and I went after nearly 8-9 months that we had not seen each other in a way that couples do. And we did what couples do. Then it turned out that I was pregnant. So when I did the tests, I called him. And, he called me in the morning, as he normally does. And he said my voice was sounding like, say, I'm not feeling well. And that I had done a pregnancy test the previous day. And it was positive. He was silent for some time. Then he turned off the phone. He called me back and asked, what did you just say? I told him what I said. He said, well, you have to go get an abortion. Now, I think this is all I'm going to say about him because I don't want to focus on him. It's not about him. It's about the child. After getting my confirmation of pregnancy, I went to work one day. I work in Voice of Nigeria. I went to work and I felt very sick at work. I was just not myself. So I came back home. I drove. I had a driver, Mr. Issa, came and drove me back home. When I got home, my stomach was full. I felt like going to the toilet. So I just went into the toilet. As I entered, I thought I was urinating, but it didn't stop. I heard it kept coming. I said, no, this is not like urine. So it stopped. Then I looked into the toilet before flushing. It was red, bright blood red. My God. Coming out of the bathroom, there was blood on my trail. So I asked for pad. I sent my girl upstairs. They got me pad. I wore the pad. I went back into the bathroom, changed, wore the pad. No, it didn't work. I was bleeding uncontrollably. So we decided to go to hospital. Within, those who are in Lagos know that within 1004 estates, there is a Federal Medical Center. So Mr. Issa drove me. Before we could leave the house, I had to tie 2 towels because the blood was just too much. And the pad I used was not containing it. So we drove to 1004 Federal Medical Center, which is just across my house. When we got there, in fact, blood followed me. The towels were drenched. When the doctor on duty saw us, he said, no. We shouldn't even stop. We should just go straight to Island Maternity. So we drove. By the time we got to Island Maternity, the towel was full, the seats. So we walked into, the emergency of Island Maternity Hospital on mainland. The doctor I saw, I think maybe he's a resident, I'm not very sure. What's the problem? He saw the blood was following me. He said, madam, what's going on? I said, it appears I'm bleeding. He said, are you pregnant? I said, yes, I confirmed pregnancy 2 weeks ago, and here I am, I'm bleeding. He said, with this quantum of blood, well, I'll just book you for evacuation. So he started writing on his book that he was booking me for evacuation. Then a doctor was passing by. I think he was, I didn't even know that Dr. Ajetumobi, he was the CMD at that time, and he was the head of that team. So he now peeped in. That was around 3:30, 4, thereabouts. He said, you are booking for evacuation? He said, yes, sir, I'm booking for evacuation. This woman is pregnant and bleeding. She confirmed, she said she's about 2-3 months pregnant and she's bleeding so much. We are booking her for evacuation. He said, no, Don't book her for evacuation. Let her go and scan. I'm talking about 2003. Scanning was not a big deal at that time. He said, let her go and scan. So he wrote a paper, a request paper, and sent me to go and scan. Mr. Isa, who was my driver, now took me. We went to the scanning place. The man saw us. In fact, the blood was everywhere. So he just, okay. He did his scan. When he did his scan, you know, that times, it's not like now that you even interact with the doctor when they are scanning you. When he did his scan, he was writing seriously on the paper. He was writing. He now stapled it, folded and stapled it, put it in an envelope and stapled it and gave it to us and said, go back to the hospital immediately. That's what he said. So we went back to the hospital. Thankfully, we met the same doctor. And by the time I came back to the hospital, I was weak. I was exhausted. In fact, I had to be supported to get back to the doctor's place. When we got to the doctor, I handed him in fact, it was Mr. Isa who handed him the envelope. I couldn't even do anything. I was weak. I was very, very weak. He opened it. I just saw him. He just jumped. Viable fetus was what I heard him say, that viable fetus. Then Dr. Ajetumobi came in. Viable fetus, you see, and we were already booking for evacuation. So immediately emergency started. We need to stabilize her. We need to do this. I was hearing there was so much commotion. I couldn't even make sense out of anything they were saying anymore, because the commotion around me was just too much. I couldn't hear them. The only thing I know is I was lifted. I was put on the, you know, this examination table in that doctor's place. I was put there. I'm sorry. So, I was put there. They lifted my leg up. The people doing blood were looking for vein to draw blood. They were looking for drip. They were just doing so many things. Then, as they were doing all that, they were giving injections. They were asking me if I knew my blood group. I said, yes, I know my blood group. My blood group is B positive. I'm a blood donor and I've taken blood before, so I know my blood group. So they started looking for blood. They said they should test, but they should go and look for blood first. Then they just did everything and took me to the I was in the emergency, I think, for 24 or 48 hours before they took me into the ward. So staying there, they were able to the only thing I noticed at that time was that I wanted to, in fact, after all the exhaustion, I just wanted to sleep. But they won't let me sleep. I said, Kai, I wish they would let me sleep. They were asking me questions. What is your name? I said, but you have my file with you. In my heart, I didn't have the energy of saying it. I didn't have energy. But they were just pestering me. I couldn't sleep as much as I was very calm and relaxed, honestly. And the only thing I wanted was sleep, but they didn't let me. I later understood that they feared I would, slide into unconsciousness because of the quantum of blood I had lost. So they took me to the ward. I remained there for, I think, 10 days. Each day, I was on drip. I was given injections. Then the bleeding started subsidizing. Reducing. It wasn't as much as it was. Because it wasn't as much as it was, they would send me again for scan. They wanted to see the well-being of the child. So they will send me again for scan. Then I will go, they will drive me to that place, we'll scan, and the result is always viable fetus. The fetus is viable and all that. So at the end of my stay in the hospital, at the time I was being discharged, the bleeding had stopped, but when I go to urinate, I'll see a drop or two. So the doctor now said I have to be on complete bed rest, that I should take complete bed rest, no stress, nothing. I said, okay, I'll do bed rest. For this child, I will do, because this child itself was not, I planned and prayed for a child, but I didn't think that after many months, nearly 10 months of not having conjugal relations with my husband, that one conjugal relation can result to a child. I didn't think it was that. I don't know. I know biologically it takes only one to make a child, but I didn't even know if I was ovulating or anything. And here I am with a child. So I told the doctor that I cherish the child and I'm going to nurture it. If you want me to do bed rest, honestly, I'll be on bed rest. I don't want to bleed. I don't want to lose my child. So the day he was going, I have the card. I'm going to get the card and put it in my hospital card. I'll put it in the comment section when I'm done. The day I was to be discharged, he now asked me to come to the clinic. That day was antenatal clinic. He said I should come to the clinic. That's Dr. Ajetumobi. I went to the clinic. He said he wants to be the one to be seeing me at all times. And anytime I come, I must insist that he told me himself, you must insist to see me. I've written it on your file. Except I'm not in town, I have to be the one to see you. So I went downstairs. So when he saw me, he said, yes, let's talk. Number one, we don't know why you are bleeding. We've tried to find out. All the scan result has not shown us why you are bleeding. And there's no reason for you to bleed. And the bleeding was too much. But we are grateful that there is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with this baby as we can see it now. The only thing I will tell you is, from now, you must come for antenatal every 2 weeks. I said, is that not too much? He said, no, it's not too much. Because I want to put my eye on this baby. So you have to come every 2 weeks until we safely deliver you of this child. That's number one. Number two, I will not give you any paper of request again. Before you come for any antenatal, you must go for scan. Go and scan, get the scan results, and come with it, because we just need to see this baby. We want to be seeing this baby each time you come. We want to see what's going on with the baby. And that's what I did. Every month, every 2 weeks, before I go for my antenatal, I will go to the scan place, the lab where they do the scanning. I'll do the scan, then I'll come with the scan results to the hospital and see the doctor. And that was how I did 2 weeks until my delivery date. And thankfully, after that single incident in the first 3 months, I didn't have any other medical problem. That I didn't have any medical problem was the least of my problems. The spiritual problems started. A lot of things happen in the spirit world. A lot of things happen. Now, the problem I encountered in the spirit world, I'm sorry, I can't say them without emotions. Truly sorry, I'm trying. Okay, I have come back home. Yes, it was at Igbo-Shere. Thank you. You are correct. Somebody knows Lagos very well. It was at Igbo-Shere. Now, I came back home and obeyed doctor's order. One night, I couldn't sleep. My room was full of people. I didn't see anybody, but the presence was... There were a lot of people in my room. I can't see anybody, like I told you, but I felt presence. So I sat up and sat down. I sat down like that till daybreak. By 4 a.m., my room became empty. I heard movements. I heard movements. Then the dreams started. It's not a dream. It's not a dream. I tell people it was not a dream. I wasn't dreaming. Because once I laid down, the people come. I can't identify them. One of them was a woman. I think she was the leader of the group. She tapped me and said, "Give it to me." I said, "What?" She said, "Give it to me." I said, "I have nothing that belongs to you." She said, "Why are you so argumentative?" I'm telling this story because I told somebody at that time, and thankfully he's very much alive. So I'll give you his name, you can call him. I'll give you his number, you can call him and ask him. Did Rafat in 2003 discuss something like this with you? So they took me under a tree, very big tree. There was a circle. I was made to kneel down, so I knelt down in between, in the middle of the circle. So a lot of complaints were leveled against me, allegations. I told them I was innocent of anything they said. I didn't do anything to you. It went on. Then I would wake up. In the morning, I won't be able to do anything at all. I will not be able to do anything. Now, what now happened was, wherever I stop today, the dream will continue tomorrow. It went on like that for about a week. So on the day on the 6th day, I was lying down on the couch in the sitting room. This man I'm going to mention, though I didn't discuss with him, I hope he won't mind that I called his name. He's Sheikh. He's Sheikh in Ikorodu. Then his father was alive. Sheikh Saidi's father was alive at that time, so he wasn't into all this Sheikh thing. He was a yuppie young man, but he's a friend to a friend of mine. He knocked on my door in 1004. Remember, I was in Lagos. I was in 1004. He knocked. Saidi came in. Saidi said, Rafatu. I said, Naam. He said, he was passing by and he saw my car. And he was curious that I'm not at work. I said, Sadie, I can't go out. He said, what's wrong? I said, I'm not feeling well. He said to give me water to drink. So when I stood up, he said, oh, you are even pregnant? I said to Alhamdulillah, I'm pregnant. He said, then what is the problem? Is it pregnancy? This? Why didn't you go to hospital? And I narrated to him the experience I've been having. Sadie said, yeah, Rafat, you are ignorant. It's the baby they want. But let me assure you, from what you have, it's so gory. I've not even told you 1/10 of the things I was subjected to in the spirit world. I've not mentioned them. When I now told Sadie said, you have overcome. Because there was a day they dug a pit and put me by the side. So somebody now stood up from among them and said, why is she by the pit? The leader of the team now began to say a lot of things. I don't know what she was saying. To justify why I am by the pit and why I should be thrown into the pit. Then somebody, the person who asked now said, no. That no, the person said. Before the person finished saying the no, somebody pushed me. I was facing the pit from behind. Somebody pushed me. When the person pushed me, I landed at the other side of the pit. I didn't fall inside. I landed at the other side of the pit. So Said, when I now told Said, he said to, his father is a Malam. He said, Rafat, I'm going to tell you something I want you to hold very dear. Don't give the glory of what God has done to any human being. Don't give the credit of God what has done to any human being. God has rescued you. You have jumped over the pit. They can never get you again. You are done with them. The only thing I'll tell you is please keep praying and we'll pray for you. Sadie said so and left. Then that night, when I slept, I now saw somebody that has been coming in my dreams. He comes after those people have, sometimes before, sometimes after. He comes, he's wearing white. He will sit by my head. He will sit by my head and be chanting some things from the Quran. I don't know the Quran at that time. I only know basic to pray. I didn't read the Quran. So that night, he came. When he came, he started. I said, you know what? I was very angry. I said, you know what? I am done. I am done with all of you. I am tired. I can't sleep. You come here, you sit down, you chant things. You know I don't read the Quran. I'm done. I don't want anymore. So he told me to calm down. I didn't see his face. But I know he's a man and he was wearing white. He now recited something and he did it multiple times. I told him it's too long. I can't remember, it's too long. He said, should I shorten it? I said yes. So he shortened it. And then he said I should repeat after him. So I did. I repeated after him. He now said I should give him my hand. So I gave him, I opened my hand. He wrote on my hand. And then he gave me a key. A key. And folded my hand and left. I just turned, I slept. I was exhausted. I slept. The following day, I went to work. When I got to work, I was intrigued. I now called one of the Malams, Malam Hamidu. He's still working with us. I said, Malam Lawan, Malam Hamidu Lawan, something happened. Ahmed! Yes. Come. Please excuse me. Ahmed, quick! What? Turn off the gas. Turn off the gas. It's burning. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm back. So he said, he now asked me what happened. I now told him that, Kai, I had a terrible dream last night, and this man has been coming to me in my dreams. I don't know what he's doing, what he's saying, but do you know, yesterday he gave me a key and he wrote something for me. He said, what did he write? I said, I don't know now. He wrote it in Arabic, and me, I don't know any Arabic. This was how my hand was still folded. He said, on which hand? I said, my left hand. He said, the key. I said, the key and what he wrote. He said, okay, open it. Let's see. So I opened my hand. I said, look at it. This is what he wrote. He said, where is it? I said, look at it now. It's written. Look at it. It's in my hand. He now looked at it. He said, okay. He cannot see anything. Can I see anything? I said, how can you say you can't see? But look at it. It's there. Because I could see it. It was very clear. He now gave me a biro and paper. Write in the office. He said, write it. Whatever you are seeing, write it. So I wrote it. He looked at it, what I wrote for him. He said, are you sure this is what is in your hand? I checked my hand. I didn't see anything again. I said, it's no longer there. He said, it's no longer there. I said, it's no longer there. He said, well, then that means that is what it is. So he took it. He opened the Quran and told me the verse of the Quran. He wrote the transliteration for me. And I began to use that verse. And the other prayer he gave me, that man in my dream, the other prayer he gave me, I began to use it. Now, anytime I prayed, I will use those prayers. So, I think I want to stop at this point. Yes, I want to stop at this point because I'm exhausted. I don't know. Once I started the prayers, then it's reduced. I didn't see those people in my dreams again. Still, but something else still happened in the physical. The attack came physically. So please permit me to just take a break here. Today is Saturday. I think we can do this again on maybe, when can we meet again? Can we do it tomorrow? Tomorrow is Sunday. Maybe we can do it tomorrow. I'll continue from here. Because the attempts at my life, I just believe, let me not close without saying that whatever God has destined will definitely come to pass. Whatever God has destined will definitely come to pass. The only thing that will not come to pass is what God has not destined. So if anything you are going through, just know that only the will of God will be manifest in your life. They will gather. They will plot. They will plan. But only God is a planner. And he's the only one that has the power over life and death and everything in between. My eyes saw. My eyes saw. I'm translating from Yoruba. Yoruba say Ojumiri. He was not airborne then. Pregnancy. So, somebody has suggested Tuesday. I think Tuesday will be perfect. Because I hate to do this, tell this story. Once I start, I got all worked up. So, I think Tuesday will be good so that we don't bore each other. I'll create time on Tuesday. But what time is okay on Tuesday? Tuesday is work day. Okay, maybe in the evening. We'll do it in the evening. I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you all for supporting Ahmed. I want to thank you for all the support you people have been giving. A lot of people supported me. I've not talked about Funke Atohegbe. Madam Funke Atohegbe, I'm going to tag you. You know, I've indicated before that I'm going to tell this story and I will tag you because what Funke Atohegbe did for me, leave the door open. What Funke Atohegbe did for me, only God will reward her. No man can reward her. She and her husband, Collins Atohegbe. I'll tag the two of them. They are both on Facebook. I even hope they are watching now. Funke is a Christian. Collins is a Christian. Her husband, Oga Collins, is a Christian. They held my hand. They held my hand. Both of them will come to my house and pray for me. Apart from praying for me, they were providing emotional support for me. They were telling me, Rafat is a spiritual battle and you will overcome. That is what they were telling me. So for those of you who think that because somebody is a Christian, yeah, somebody is a Muslim, you don't know where, through whom God will send your help. When we come next week, God willing, I will now talk about 3 things. Number 1, the attempt to kidnap me. In fact, I was kidnapped. I was kidnapped, carrying this boy's pregnancy. Number 1, I will bring Funke Atohegbe on. Let Funke come and tell us how the advice she gave me that saved me. See, oh, the Christians will tell you that the Bible says wisdom is profitable to direct. With wisdom. When I told her, she said, no, Rafa, don't go that way. This is how we are going to go. Is it not for this pregnancy? This is how we are going to go. And I obeyed her. I obeyed Funke. Madam Funke, I'm going to tag you. The world must thank you. The world must celebrate you. The world must pray for you. Everybody who is Team Ahmed must pray for Madam Funke Atohegbe. She's online. I will tag you. When I tag you, so that people will thank you for what you did in 2003 and 2004. Because you were one person that held me tight. You and your husband. You held me very, very tight. Very good. Tuesday is Victory Day. Ojo Ishego. May God keep us beyond Tuesday. I'm going to focus on 3 things on Tuesday. Somebody has said we should do it. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you. You want to wipe my tears? Use this towel. Come closer. Thank you. Ahmed is wiping my tears. You will wipe all my tears by God's grace. You hear? Yeah. Thank you. Yes, our joy is forever. Ogun tó ti ṣẹ́rí kò ní padà gbórí mọ́. Our joy is permanent. What God has done is permanent. So, it is on this note I'm signing out by telling you people that God already gave us victory. It is because God has given us victory that we can sit down and talk. He has given us victory. We will lift him higher. Jehovah, I will lift him higher. My God has given me victory. I will lift him higher. Jehovah, I will lift him higher. And to Muslims, let's all recite Surah to Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Inna fatana laka fatahan mubin. Inna fatana laka fatahan mubin. Inna fatana laka fatahan mubin. Liyaghfira laka Allahu ma taqaddama min dhanbika wa ma tahara wa yutimma ni'matahu alayka wa yahdiyaka siratal mustaqim wa yansuraka Allahu nasran azizan. Allah has given us victory and our victory is manifest. They say it's autism. I say you don't even know where we are coming from. You are telling me autism. What is autism? Autism is moi moi. It's child's play. What is autism? Do you even know where you are coming from? Do you know where we are coming from? You don't even know where we are coming from. You are telling me autism. Cerebral palsy. ADHD. Speech impairment. I say, forget it. We are coming from a place where survival was even said to be non-existent. And you're telling me autism. Autism, we are going to walk through it. Forget it. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm sorry you are seeing tears in my eyes. I'm so sorry. I can't do it without tears, but they are tears of joy. I think I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. Thank you and see you on Tuesday.